year, Kartini Day is celebrated each year on the 21st of April in honor of Raden Ajeng Kartini, a patriotic figure for defending women's equality. Though we celebrate it, some people still find a way to degrade women. And there's still this system called the patriarchy. The patriarchy is a system of society that believes men hold the power and women should be excluded. People that are a part of this patriarchy believes that men are at the top of the world, they are the king of the house, and they are the rule makers. And women are the lowest standards, and they would have a good life if they just be a good housewife. And now let's talk about feminism. Feminism is a movement where people in this community fight for women's rights. And some people would misunderstood feminism by saying, oh, feminism is just patriarchy but for women. I can tell you this now, that is wrong. Feminism, yes, feminism means fighting for women's rights, but it also means that all genders should be equal to all. In my surroundings, and I believe in yours as well, you would see people bring strong men to lift things to the trucks. They would say women are only allowed to do chores, be the housewife, clean the dishes, wash the laundry, make the bed, take care of their child, and wait until a husband comes home to take care of them after a long day at work. They would say pink is feminine, blue is masculine, dolls are not allowed to be played by boys, cars, robot toys are not allowed to be played by girls, men are not allowed to open up about their feelings or they will be called weak for it, women are not allowed to speak up and they are not allowed to be the smartest in the room, men would have more opportunities and privileges in life and women wouldn't have as much. I would even hear people say that a world without women would be okay, it would be even better because they're so fragile and weak. Now I want to ask the audience, specifically to the ladies, have you ever seen or experienced someone taking an advantage from you just because you're a woman?
Yes.
Is it unfair?
Yes.
Yes, it is. But believe it or not, people would say, oh, it's okay, it's fine, you'll get over it. But the problem is, it's not okay, it's not fine, and it's really disturbing how someone can take an opportunity from you just because you're a woman. And us women, we're not as delicate as you think. And men, they can do chores. Blue, pink, red, orange, yellow, does not define which is feminine, which is masculine. And men are allowed to open up about their feelings and should not be called weak for it. And women, they are allowed to speak up and they deserve the same opportunities and privileges as men. So what should we do? Is there something that we can do to stop gender stereotyping and to break the stigma? And the answer to that question is yes, there is. One of the things that all of us can start doing is by treating everyone equally and not say that, oh, this is a boy's thing, oh, this is a girl's thing, when everyone and everything is the same. That is all for me today. Thank you all for listening, and I apologize if I misspelled or used offensive words.
Cheers once again to the participant number 1. Now, we will move to the contestant number 2. Arya Fazel Saputra. To Arya, time is yours.
Let us go back a few hundred years ago when the first invaders came here, and they not only took our herds, but also made us enslaved. They caused us suffer for hundreds of years and made us unintelligent. In the beginning of the education during colonialism, only the native from nobleman class would get education as the implementation from the Dutch ethical policy. That was the first time the Indonesian people received more decent education. As the time passed, Indonesian people tried hard to build their own education system, which was started by Ki Hajar Dewantara at first. But, however, as the quality of Indonesian education system is improved, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Arya Fadil Sabtra from Asova Senior High School. In this opportunity, I would like to talk about the quality of Indonesian education during the past of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, it is undeniable that the quality of Indonesian education is improving over time. But a study claims that the country educational system is left behind for almost 128 years. And most recent data shows that this country educational system is still far from perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about the improvement in our country educational system, it is obvious that there are many improvements in our country. But because Indonesia is a very huge country with an archipelago, it is understandable that to spread proper education is not easy at all. Ladies and gentlemen, even though our country is good, they try to improve our educational system, but I think we need to respect our teacher. They need to make something different. Okay, when you're studying while playing, it is not respectable. We need to respect our teacher to make our Indonesia is getting better. Because if we are still playing or not serious, our government massive spending will be wasted for nothing. Well, our minister has made some innovation which is very useful for students. For example, our minister Nadiem Makarim has arranged national exam. Well, okay, people ask me, national exam has several benefits, but I think as a student, national exam isn't effective at all. It is less effective for measuring learning achievement and tend to memorize the material and not learning competencies. Stop playing game, guys. Stop to make a game. Stop playing racing games. Stop become a real racer. Stop playing business game. Start to become a real success entrepreneur. If you are still playing for fun or just not serious when studying, it is not only give bad effect to us but also to our parents. Because why should they spend a lot of their time and their money to make you a nothing? Making Indonesia great is not only spending trillions of money, but also we can make it by simple things. Come on guys, show them who you are. Who doesn't want to back to their hometown using a fancy car, watch that worth of billions of rupiah after wandering for a year? All of us want it, right? So, as an Indonesian future generation, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. I think that's all. I'm Arya Fadil from Asova Senior High School. Thank you very much.
Thank you for contestant number 2. Now, here is the contestant number 4. With the names Ashifa Alefira. Ashifa, the time is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? I hope you are fine. And how's your feeling? I'm happy years old. But today, I will not tell to you about my feelings. I will tell to you about women. Yes, about women. I remember 5 years ago, I was reading my book when my uncle came and asked me to stop reading. He said that what I do is useless because I'm just a girl that will become a wife for my husband in the future, so I didn't study hard. But then my mother told me, don't ever stop to learn. My mother teaches me that I have to be an independent and active woman. And now, what my mother teach led me to be a student of manual Gambar. I keep thinking, why do women always known as a figure that will just become a wife so that we don't need a high education? They say that women are troublesome because women are weak and need more protection. Hey, everyone needs protection, not just the women, right? The stereotype is the first thing that causes discrimination that happens to women. Many people underestimate women, so that there are many problems that segregate women. Violence, sexual harassment, slavery, and any more cases that occur in every country in the world. This signifies a lack of protection for women. Why has the world become such an unfair place for women? Honorable and respectful judges, the committees, ladies and gentlemen, I, Ashifa Mafira from Manual Pekanbaru, and I'm standing here to talk about inequality of women's rights. Ladies and gentlemen, let's open our eyes to this unfinished problem. Look at around us. There are so many discrimination against women, like physical violence, like hitting and gripping hard on women's body, and other physical violence, and physical violence like forms of threatening actions, calling with inappropriate names, body shaming, bullying, and any other. What I mentioned before is just some of the many forms of discrimination against women. According to new research into UK crime data by Manchester University shows that violence against women has increased by 70% in comparison with 50% for crimes against men. In Indonesia, data on complaints to Komnas Perempuan have increased significantly from 2,000 cases in 2020 to 3,000 cases in 2021. Okay, I know that some people won't care about what I say. However, you need to know that all of the violence against women does not only have an impact for the victims, but also on the environment and even the world. Women's participation in decision making is essential in an environment is equally represented. Having both men and women involved in decision making broadens the perspective, which means women can help to advance the world. Okay, that's the problem, but have you ever thought about the reason for discrimination against women in society? So, there are many reasons for that problem, such as education, poverty, and patriarchal setup. Patriarchal setup, do you know what it is? So, patriarchy is defined as a multi-layered social system within which it is believed that there are differences between genders, such that men are always on the top, meanwhile women lives were defined in terms of being wife. This patriarchal system that means women must be stopped. The first way to stop it is just to change people's mindset about women who are only limited to being a wife. Changing the mindset that has long been rooted in people's minds certainly not easy, right? But at least, we must be able to reduce patriarchy by recognizing women as political subjects, ending violence against women, and denial of women's rights. I, myself, as a future woman, have to stop discrimination starts for myself, including by educating myself and being open to grow. So, I want to say to all women that hear my speech, as women, we can be empowered. Be brave and fight for your rights. I hope that women all over the world have a higher education and can live a free life as they wish without being ensnared by the bad stigma that hinders their dream. Basuki Cahayapurnama said, if there is education, there is no discrimination. With that being said, is the end of my speech. Thank you.
you, Ashifa Al-Nafira. Now I will call the next participant with names. M. Ihsan Rahmat. To Ihsan, time is yours. Please prepare Kisha and Dia.
Discrimination against race, gender, ethnicities, and religion is becoming a huge problem in our society. Especially right now, proven by moments like in West Sumatra, where girls are being forced to wear the hijab, or moments like back in July in Yogyakarta, where two ethnicities fought each other. This raises the question, why is discrimination still happening? Why are we letting this happen? What happened to unity and diversity, the motto that we have always been proud of? Are we letting it fade away? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Ihsan. I'm from Manwan, Pekanbaru, and today I'll be presenting a speech titled The Past and the Future of Indonesian Identity. When talking about Indonesian national identity, our mind collectively will think unity in diversity, or it's better known as Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. Deriving from a verse written by Mpu Tantular in his book called Kakawin Sutasoma, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika became a national motto because it represents Indonesia perfectly. So, before we talk about the potential future of Indonesian national identity, let's first talk about the past. There are two vital moments in Indonesia's history that shows that diversity is not a hurdle into unity. Those vital moments are: 1. The Youth Pledge, 28th of October 1928. Last Friday, we all celebrated this moment that started it all. This beautiful moment that started it all. The Youth Pledge was a statement made by the Indonesian youth from all part of Indonesia. It was a movement to finally become one as Indonesia. I believe that this moment is what made Indonesia what it is today. A country full of diverse people, but still acknowledge the fact that they have one nation, one homeland, and speak one language, Indonesia. This moves on to my second moment that I would like to mention, which is 2. The proclamation of Indonesia's independence, 17th of August 1945. The proclamation was a life-changing experience for all of Indonesia. After all of the suffering they've been through, they are finally free. Led by Sukarno, Mohatta, and other Indonesians that was present, they showed that despite of their differences, they are willing to fight for this country and became united, officially becoming an independent country. From this true amazing event, we can see that despite of their differences, Indonesians are willing to become united. But that was in the past, when the feeling of frustration of being colonized could be the sole reason why they become united. Then how is it now? Let's talk about present day. How is it? Well, I heard that girls are still being discriminated against. In Medan, 7 worship houses were vandalized and destroyed because of a misunderstanding. In 2001, the Sambit chaos happened, where it resulted in 500 people dying and 100,000 people losing their home. And back in July, recently, 2 ethnicities fought each other for the second time in Yogyakarta, specifically in Babarsari. So, after knowing some of the worst representation of our national motto, do you think we can overcome our diversity? Sukarno, the first president of Indonesia, once said, "This country, the Republic of Indonesia, does not belong to any groups, nor belong to any religion, nor belong to any ethnic groups, nor belong to any groups with custom and tradition, but the property of all of us from Sabang to Merauke." Dear fellow Indonesians, now let us talk about the future. First, we need to realize that Indonesia, a country like Indonesia with a population of over 270 million people, it only takes 1% of intolerant people to make this country fall apart. That's why we as an individual need to be away from that 1%. We can't be a part of that 1% by being tolerant towards others. Second, we need to know what tolerant truly means. So before you come at me and say, then how about the LGBTQ people? We can't be tolerant towards them. Okay, being tolerant is not all about being inclusive. Being tolerant means that acknowledging the fact that somebody is different from you, but being okay with it. You don't have to befriend them, you don't have to support them, but the least you can do is to ignore and not spread hate or act violence towards them. I truly believe that a tolerant way of thinking is a great start to create a better future for this country. Always remember that united we stand, divided we fall. I hope moving forward, we all can do better to create a better future for this country and keep our national motto as a country full of diversity but still in unity. I think that's all from me. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Isan. I'm a human, so sorry for all mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Cheers once again to Muhammad Isa Rahman. Now, we will move to the next contestant with names Keisha and Dia. To Keisha, time is yours. Please prepare.
She's sick.
Because our next participant, Keisha and Dia, cannot come to our competition, we will move to the next contestant. Now I will call the next contestant with names Atifah Ramadhani. To Atifah, time is yours. Please prepare Felicia Zaki.
Do you know all the words that have been targeted on a specific group based off of the gender to bring them down? Something like, you shouldn't do this. Don't do that. You're a woman. Sit like a lady. You don't get to be a leader. Let the gentleman do that for us. Or, know your place. You're supposed to be in the kitchen making food and doing the dishes. Okay, yeah, we often hear those. It is a common phenomenon for society to be biased towards a certain group that they consider superior. And as a girl myself, I think it is inappropriate and unfair to discriminate someone just because of something that they were born with, which they can't even control. Well, honorable, respectful judge, the committees, brothers and sisters, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm Atifah Ramadhani from Islamic Senior High School number 1 Pekanbaru, and I'm standing here to carry out my speech entitled Realizing the Equal Empowerment for the Development of Our Country. So, gender inequality has been a problem in society since way too long ago. Well, the greatest factor of it might be our social and cultural circumstances. So, the first act of feminism started on July 1848 by Seneca Falls Convention, which demands women's right on civil, social, politics, and religion. Ever since, acts for women empowerment spreads widely around the world. But those, sadly, have yet to eradicate all the problems and difficulties that we experience on a daily basis. In fact, a global gender gap report from the WEF on 2020 placed our country, Indonesia, on the 85th out of 135 countries, which means we are staying still, we are staying stagnant, we are not making any improvement on the matter. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as surprising as it is, many women suffer from all types of prejudices towards them. Last, in Papua, there was a local law on the rehabilitation of women victims of human rights violation, which can be seen in Perdasus number 1 on 2011. But it was horribly passed without any public dissemination and remains lacking in sub-regulations. The law hasn't been implemented properly because of the stigmatized view on women themselves. So they think that is not an important matter to focus on. But Kofi Annan, a Ghanaian diplomat, said otherwise. There is no way for development more effective than the empowerment of women. By increasing the capability, by increasing the capacity of women, we can solve this discrimination problem and even get to develop our country faster. Well, brothers and sisters, a lot of people still question the intentions of women for wanting this so-called equality. But even if we don't ask them personally and set aside their various answers, there are still so many advantages that we can claim by letting everyone has equal rights and responsibility according to the expertise field. Well, first, it prevents violence that's driven by gender disparity, which also means that it will lower the crime rates of our country, because violence against women holds a big part in criminality. And second, countries with a majority of educated women have overall better economics, health, and safety than those that don't. Enrolling girls and women in a good education holds a direct bearing on the financial condition of a country. And third, bridging the gap between male and female means having more chance on educated people in power, because it won't only give one of them the chance to get a hold of leadership. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you ask, what can we, a mere civilian, do to give everyone the same rights and responsibility to have a better living quality? So, I'm standing here to give you some suggestions on that. The smallest step that we can do as a person and as a community is just supporting anyone to become a leader regardless of their gender, age, race, or physical appearances. We need to start giving someone a role that they deserve purely with their talents. Then next is vote in every election and use your rights wisely. Connect to human rights movement and protest for any form of inequalities. Advocate for things like equal pay for equal work, education access, free childcare, etc., etc. If we start from a simple thing like this, we might be able to change the perspective of society on women and their basics. So there was an old proverb saying, sometimes the smallest step in the right direction ends up being the biggest step of our life. Tip-top if you must, but take the step. Okay, I think that is all that I could present this occasion. Sincerely appreciate the chance and time you have given me. Apologize for any mistake I might have made. I'm Atifa, and thank you.
The next, silakan. Bapak boleh minta izin ke toilet karena
Oh, ya.
khawatir dipanggil 3 kali kan didiskualifikasi. Mohon maaf ya, tadi kan saya cek. Take your time.
ini yang tampil. Oh. Ada di bahan juga kalau toilet badan antri sini. Di gedung sebelah juga ada di samping ini tempat beton, ada juga toilet sana.
Ya itu tadi yang saya tanyakan adik kan, adik bilang di luar itu saya kan nggak tahu takutnya udah dipanggil
Masa
karena
pula ya?
iya karena biasanya kalau udah aturan panitian itu kami ikuti karena khawatir kan bahwa udah datang kasihan nggak bisa ya kan.
Ini kan dapat kursi ya belakangnya.
Nah, itu saya mau berdiri.
Panitia.
Ada ya kakak. Maaf ya, jadi nggak ikut.
Ruangannya panas nggak?
Enggak lah.
Dingin banget.
Iya. Oke.
Iya, dia lepas.
Felicia.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Felicia and I'm from Vitama Senior High School, Pekanbaru. So, what are stigma and stereotypes? Stigma is defined as the beliefs of characteristics of women should be less than men. So stigma and stereotypes are both harmful for women and men. Social stigma is defined as the beliefs that various traits or acts are characteristics of an individual or group based on perceived characteristics that serve to distinguish them from other members of society. How about stereotypes? Stereotypes is the beliefs that various acts or traits are the characteristics of individuals or group. So, stereotypes aren't only against women, but also men. However, most of the stereotypes harm women. The most common gender stereotypes for women include women should be polite, accommodating, and nurturing. Woman can't be a leader. Woman should not be too aggressive, outspoken, or smart. Every woman wants to get married and pop out babies. Women are next, weak, and crazy. Woman this, woman that, we are tired of these stereotypes. Women should be equal to men. Not every girl likes wearing pink. It's normal to have body hair. Women aren't next. I've seen that there is a family where the wife had to stop working to take care of their children. Both of the children are very naughty. The wife also does all the housework by herself. The husband doesn't want to help his wife at all. He thinks that housework and childcare are all women's jobs. Furthermore, the husband's family demands a lot from the wife. And the husband has a very bad temper. The wife becomes very thin. Is he even search for a wife or a maid? These stereotypes towards women are so sick. Women are told to do housework and are not allowed to going to work, and people think that it is not for women. Now, let's talk about one case that I'm sure many people often hear about. It is about rape. Rape is a type of sexual assault usually involving sexual intercourse or other forms of sexual penetration carried out against a person without their consent. Even in a marriage, rape can happen. In Indonesia, women are more likely for being raped than men. 90% of rape in Indonesia were not reported. You all know why?
No.
Yes. It is because stereotypes. Stereotypes. So what these stereotypes is make the woman become not want to speak up. It's because when the woman is the victim, the society blaming the woman. Why aren't you shouting for help? You must be wearing an innocent clothes. She must be the one who seduced him. And there are still many close-minded people that will think and will blame the woman. What if the victim is the man and the one who raped is the woman? This time they did the right thing. They blamed the woman. Then why is it different when the one who raped is a man? This is the stereotype. So, people should really educate their boys because real men don't do that. They have to control their own sexual desires, because if you can't control your own sexual desires, you are not considered as a human anymore. I think I should really talk about this because there are so many rape cases in Indonesia, and mostly the victims are getting bleeding. Bleeding in vaginal or anal, and then soreness, broken or dislocated bones. Not only affect our physical health, but also mental health, such as depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and many else. So the conclusion is, we should really make these stereotypes disappear. There shouldn't be a stereotypes between men and women, because we all are the same, and every people has the same change to increase their capability and doing what they want. And just like what Taylor Swift said in her winning speech of Bad Blood, that sounds like, and it used to be bad blood, and it used to be bad blood. So take a look what you've done. Maybe now we got bad blood. It sounds like that. So she said that I'm just so happy if we could live in a world where boys can play princesses and girls can play soldiers. So let's us break this stigma and stereotypes, because we don't need this all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to Feliciaza. We will move into the next contestant with name Hasbi Mahmuda. To Hasbi, time is yours. Please be prepared, Dion and Nadir.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, you can. Maybe you can open it. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. This line was spoken in this speech in South Africa on July 16, 2003, by the president in South Africa on 1994 to 1999. Education plays a role as the best part for the living quality in each country, because education affects everything in each country, be it in terms of economy, technology, politics, and other like that. You know, the quality of education in Indonesia has increased year by year. It is supported by the changing of curriculum. Since 1947, it has changed for 11 times. From curriculum Renjana at first, now we are using the curriculum of 2013, and it's fully adapt to curriculum of Merdeka Belajar. Well, before I continue this, let me introduce myself. I'm Hasbi Mahmuda Syahir from Manuan Pekanbaru. I will present my speech under the title Curriculum Reform for the better quality of education. Ladies and gentlemen, first thing first, I want to ask you a question. What do you think about the quality of Indonesian education? So, as far as I know, Indonesian education system has been a high volume, low quality enterprise that has fallen short of the country's ambition for an internationally competitive system. Let's focus on the main topic. From 11 times, the curriculum has changed year by year. I will sum up from the curriculum 2006, or in other words is KTSP. KTSP was officially enforced nationally with the issuance of PP number 19 on 2005 and Pendiknas number 24 on 2006. Okay, how is the quality of education by using KTSP? Ladies and gentlemen, the implementation of KTSP, it found some problem. Equal, the standard learning processes has not described a detailed learning sequence. So, there is opens up opportunities for devious interpretations and leads to teacher-centered learning. Okay, let's move on to the curriculum of 2013. Curriculum 2013 was enacted on December 11, 2014 and comes into effect on December 12, 2014. The Education Ministry, Anies Baswedan, has developed another curriculum called Curriculum 2013. You know, why did it change? How is the problem? Let's see. In the curriculum of 2013, focused to perfecting the pattern thinking, strengthening curriculum governance, deepen and expand the material, strengthening learning processes, and lock adjustment. Learn to ensure which match between what is desired and what is the product. Ladies and gentlemen, so what is next? What about the quality of Indonesian education right now? We know that today's the curriculum has changed again by the name of Merdeka Belajar. Nadine Anwar Makarim has officially announced curriculum Belajar, which the aim that students focus more on the essential material, so that there is sufficient time for in-depth learning of basic competencies, such as literacy and numeracy, with learning methods, such as question and answer, demonstration, discussion, and study tours. Brothers and sisters, I found the data from Republika. The content is Adi Afandi, the head of the East Java Education Office for the Sampang region, claimed that 24 out of total of 163 Senior High School, or its LTA, in the area had implemented curriculum of Merdeka Belajar. On Sunday, July 24, 2022, he said, their 24 schools are already applying the curriculum of Merdeka Belajar. Because it consists of its MA, its MP, and its LB. Because there is a difference from students' characteristic and school condition. But is Indonesia ready for the changes of curriculum? Is the Merdeka Belajar the right step in improving the quality of Indonesian education? Well, here is a detail for the solution. The first is always goals oriented. The second is not only tied for an alternative. The last is usually using various methods as a combination, such as lecture methods with question and answer. So, I hope for the future, the government does not only think about Indonesian education, but thinks about its people and chooses a more appropriate way. Then we must support all positive from the government for the future develop our Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is of my view on the issue of the improvement and changes effects in our quality education. Finally, I want to say thank you for the opportunity has been given to me, and I apologize for all my mistakes. I'm Hasbi from Manuan Pekanbaru. See you.
Thank you to Hasbi Mahmuda. We will move into the next contestant with name Dion M. Nadif. To Dion, time is yours. Please be prepared, Rio Taro Odi.
Life isn't fair. Get used to it. The first of 11 Bill Gates rules that you will never get learned in school. Anyways, what does it mean? What does it supposed to do with gender equality? Well, let's get straight to the point. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Gion Muhammad Nadif, and today I'm gonna deliver my speech with the title "Women Are Great." Ladies and gentlemen, first I want to tell you about what gender stereotype is. According to OHCHR.org, a gender stereotype is a generalized opinion about everything to be possessed by or performed by women and men. And do you know what gender stereotype that your country have? If you don't know, let me tell you. One of them is that masculine job, which means men are those who can be the leaders of. For instance, a company. So how about the women? Of course, based on the stereotypes, they are tended to be left behind and unable to do such a thing. It's just not fair. It makes me sad since I can still see women do what men can do. Do you know Sri Mulyani or Hillary Clinton? What are they? Leaders? Yes. They lead the men and overcome uneasy problems. Ladies and gentlemen, the second stereotype in our country is women supposed to do household and domestic role. They are not intended to get a proper education, while men are probably getting prepared for getting a lot of educational titles. It's really easy for us to see this fact in our country, especially if you go to a suburb area. Yet, seeing a career woman nowadays who earn money for their family and does domestic work at the same time proves us that women are great, because they slowly change the stigma. For all of the women here, can we get an applause? It is a complete perspective and description of personality of Cutnya Dini as a perspective of my example. And do you need more example? Take a look at my teachers. Most of them are females. They educate us, they work for their family, and they taking care of their family also. If I were my teachers, I would never be able to do that. Moreover, for all of you who are women here, I believe that your presence here are for being educated at the campus. Believe me, you deserve it. And also, thank you for hand-in-hand changing the stigma that says women are not eligible to get a proper education. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that men are great, but women are different because they are unbeatable. Women are unbeatable, and we all were born because of women. If men are great, women are more than that. There's nothing wrong with being a woman. Yes, there's nothing wrong with being a woman. And also, we have to thank for them. We even have to thank for them. Because since man needs a woman, and the reverse. Let me end up this speech by giving you guys a quote. Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. Women shouldn't be the exception. Thank you so much for hearing me. And remember, life and share.
Thank you to Dion and Nadif. We will move into the next contestant with name Riau Taraodi. To Riau Taraodi, time is yours. Please be prepared, Olivia and Selena.
So, before I start to deliver my speech, please allow me to ask everyone here. Did you know that Indonesia is ranked 54th out of 78 countries in terms of education? Now, most of us may not know why the quality of Indonesian education lags so far behind other countries. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ryotaro Odinata from Ritama Senior High School, and today I will be going through the quality of Indonesian education for the year. Now, there are a lot of factors why Indonesian education is behind other countries. One of them is the amount of subject taught. There's a lot of subject in the Indonesian curriculum that students need to learn. And on top of that, the amount of subject taught in school overweighs the school and it overweighs the school and it overweighs the quality education the school will provide. Another factor that might be causing this problem is school fees. This will be the first problem people under the poverty line will face. Even though there are public schools, most people still can't enter because of the high standards. One of my friends actually went to a public school and he got in because of his high grades. But this won't be the case for people who have not received any prior education. Another factor is the length of school time. So in Indonesia, students spend 7 to 9 hours studying at school. Students also have to do homework and assignment given by the teachers. I personally study for 8 hours a day, and I genuinely feel that it is not effective because after a while it gets really tiring, and I'm sure the teachers feel the same too. Another factor is the amount of subjects students need to master. We are expected to master every single subject given to us, which would make us unfocused and oftentimes not understand the subject that is being taught by the teacher. This problem could be prevented by reducing the amount of subject taught, so students could be more focused and could understand the materials taught by the teacher better. Another factor is the students' lack of interest to learn. Now, this could be caused by the students' environment. Students may not get motivated by their parents and their teachers. Parents and teachers should motivate them by prioritizing their efforts more than the results, and also by not putting pressure to them with high expectations. Another factor is the lack of teachers. Some teachers are forced to teach subjects that are not in accordance with their educational background, which would make students have a hard time understanding them because underqualified teacher may lack the necessary ability and experience to teach students. So, in conclusion, there are still some things that we could do to help improve our education quality. And one of them is by giving free tuitions to underprivileged children. This way, we could help them improve their knowledge, and this may even help them to get into public schools. So that pretty much sums up my speech for today. I hope we could see the improvement done to our education quality one day in the future. This has been from me. Thank you for your time and attention. Have a nice day.
Thank you to Rio Taro Odi. We will move into the next contestant with name Olivia Angelina. To Olivia, time is yours. Please be prepared, Nabila Shakira.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to say that I am lucky, blessed, and I am grateful that I was born in this modern era. Because back in the past, when Raden Ajahn Kartini lived, people were accustomed to certain expectations targeted to women. Well, for those whose deviating from the stigma are considered different, weird, and effete. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Olivia Angelina. I'm from Witama National Plus Senior High School, Pekanbaru, and the thing that I've chosen for my speech today is breaking the stigmas and stereotypes of women. According to United Nations, ladies and gentlemen, a gender stereotype or stigma is a generalized preconception about attributes, characteristics, or roles that ought to be performed by a man or woman. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for some people, for such a long time, women are drawn to be the soft and weaker human being. And women are prohibited from joining war in the past. Meanwhile, education had also been taken away from women in the past. People thought that women don't need any education to do housework. For some people, people think that gender stereotyping is disturbing, as it fortifies a person's rights to do their choices in life. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a little story. Once someone asked me and my classmates who's the chairman of the class, and all fingers were pointed at me. I don't know why I'm the chairman, maybe because I got the sassiest attitude in my class. Who knows? But when that person looked at me, the chairman of the class, he was not so sure because he thought that chairmen are supposed to be chairmen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the 21st century and y'all still think a woman like me can't lead a whole classroom, let alone a woman leading a whole country, like our ex-president Megawati Soekarno-Putri. A movement created in 1848 by Elizabeth Stanton called feminism to defend women's rights in the realm of politics, economics, and so much more. In March 2017, there's also a movement created by women, which resulted in people, men or women, joining. And this resulted in people getting lots of positive flashbacks. Now, we can overcome this, of course, by social media. Nowadays, I'm sorry, can I restart my speech?
Yeah, you can continue.
You can come.
It's no problem.
Wait. Pardon me, and please allow me to restart my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say that I'm lucky, blessed, and I am grateful that I was born in this modern era. Because in the past, when Raden Ajeng Kartini lived, people were accustomed to certain expectations targeted to women. There's a traditional view that women should take care or have the responsibilities on taking care of the house, having children, cooking, and also taking care of child. Now, for those deviating from the stigma are considered weird, different, and a feat. My name is Liv Angelina. I'm from Mitama National Plus Senior High School, Pekanbaru, and the theme that I've chosen for my speech today is breaking the stigmas and stereotypes of women. According to United Nations, a gender stereotype or stigma is a generalized preconception about attributes, characteristics, and also roles that ought to be performed by a man or woman. People think it's disturbing as gender stereotyping can fortify a person's right to do their own choices in life. Frequently, gender stereotyping is targeted to women because for such a long time, women are drawn to be the soft and weaker human being. In the past, women are prohibited from joining war. They are told to cook or do house chores instead. Education had also been taken away from women in the past. As society thinks, women don't need any education to do house chores. And this concept, ladies and gentlemen, carries over to this day. Not only house chores, but other examples of gender stereotyping is that women are sexual properties of men. That women should obey whatever men said, especially once they become a wife. Men are expected to become leaders where women are given the same opportunities as men. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is called patriarchy. Once, someone asked me and my classmates who's the chairman of the class, and all fingers were pointed at me. To be honest, I don't know why I am the chairman. Maybe because I got the sassiest attitude in my class. I mean, who knows? But ladies and gentlemen, when he knew that I was the chairman of the class, he wasn't so sure. So, he said, "Are you serious? Aren't chairmen supposed to be chairmen? And come on, it's the 21st century and y'all still think a girl like me can't lead a whole classroom, let alone a woman leading a whole country like our ex-president Megawati Soekarno-Putri." I often hear my friends tell me how hard it is to be a woman in chasing their dreams. Some said, women can be engineers, women can do technology, women shouldn't start their own company, and people said women should learn cooking instead of joining the war. But ladies and gentlemen, I am not afraid to stand here and be different, but pursuing my dreams that is different, far away from people's expectations are considered different or weird or effete. Women and men can pay the same amount of effort and get treated differently. My gender, man or woman, does not define my abilities and my way of living. My gender, man or woman, does not suppose my limitations. Women can be leaders, women can do engineering, women can be CEOs, women can do anything they want. Women can choose not to be stay-at-home mothers, and women can have the same opportunities as men without people judging them or comparing them to stereotypes and stigmas. A movement created in 1848 by Elizabeth Stanton to defend women's rights in the realm of politics, economy, and so much more. Feminism. A procession in March 2017 was created with lots of people joining, which resulted in every single people giving positive backlash to them. In the future, ladies and gentlemen, if patriarchy continues, marginalization will occur. The thought of one sex is prior rather than others is different, and also violence. We can start overcoming this problem by educating each other, especially through social media. As nowadays, social media are included in almost every single aspect we have. We can raise awareness and also implement a positive equality in our lives. So ladies and gentlemen, let's break the stigmas and stereotypes of women and give everyone, men or women, the same opportunities. I would love to end my speech with a quote by Malala Yousafzai. I raise up my voice, not so I can shout, but for those without a voice can be heard. We all cannot succeed when half of us are held back. That's all from me today. I'm Olivia Angelina. Thank you all for your attention.
Okay, thank you to Olivia Angelina. We will move into the next contestant with name Nabila Shakira Hamza. So Nabila, time is yours. Please be prepared. Rafid Sharif.
Honorable judges, respect the audience. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First of all, I'd like to thank to the Almighty God. It is because of Him we are all able to attend this contest. Second, may salat and salam always be delivered to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hello everyone, my name is Nabila Shakira Hamza and I'm from 11 Senior High School, Pekanbaru. Today is not a bright day, but it's fun, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. First, on this time, I would like to talk about breaking the stigma and stereotype of women. First, I want to ask a question to all the women in this room. Have you ever experienced any stigma or stereotypes towards you? Yes? Looks like everyone here has ever as a woman. There's a lot of stigma and stereotypes we've heard. Even when we were younger, we already heard some stigma and stereotypes. And sadly, it came from our family. Example, namely women must look beautiful. Only men can do that. Women are weak. Don't be so ambitious. You're just going to end up as a housewife. Women can't lead, and women are paid less than men. Those words teach women that they can be more than that. It undermines our confidence. The fact that in this modern era that we live in today, there's a lot of successful women that lead their own company. They become businesswomen, they were successful in fashion industry, entertainment, and other fields. Let me tell you about a lead woman, Oprah Winfrey, a famous woman entrepreneur in media, entertainment, whose net worth is $2.6 billion. Francois Fort Myers, she's bloody rich. According to Forbes, the top richest woman in the world in 2022, her net worth is $74.8 billion. She is a businesswoman. Vandana Luthra, a founder of VLCC. Rihanna, Beyonce, who doesn't know them, right? And Anna Wintour, a successful British journalist, and there are more successful women.
women can do everything. They can do housework, take care of their families, be mothers, wives, and earn money at the same time. Women are incredible. From Francois Benford Myers and Oprah, we know that women can lead. From Ferdinand Lutra and Anna Wintour, we know women are killers. And from Rihanna and Beyonce, we know women can create a masterpiece. Is it a shame when people undereducated women? We as women have to dream big, make it happen, and break all the stigma and stereotype of us in our society. Don't listen to those words and choose your own path. And I'd like to thank to all the incredible women, mothers, and women who never give up. Wonderful women are powerful. Finally, that is all from my speech. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Nabila Shakira Hamza, we will move into the next contestant with names Rafiq Sharif. To Rafiq Sharif, 5 is yours. Please be prepared, Regita Nur Aziza.
Education. What comes on your mind when you hear this word? Why is it really important to discuss? How is the condition of education in our country? How far does the condition, does the quality of Indonesian education develop? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Rafiq Sharif, and today my topic is the quality of Indonesian education through the year. Getting an education is urgently essential in this era of globalization. Why is it so? Let me tell you one of Nelson Mandela's quotes that perhaps can support my view. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. It blew me away at the very first time I heard this quote. Didn't expect that education will become the oasis in the middle of the dry, quote-unquote, knowledge desert. Yet, there is so much more that this world can behold. Ladies and gentlemen, it has no doubt that education is the sole key to the quality of your life. Why is it so? So, everyone gathered here probably have experienced education, am I right? Yes. The most simple example of education is when your mother teaches you how to properly eat, or when your father teaches you how to fix a broken bicycle. All of these examples that I just mentioned often gets not included in an example of education, because over time people will forget that education doesn't always mean that it's in the formal schools or courses, because education is also defined as an informal teaching, or the process of learning something in your house or anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, the quality of lives that people that get proper education and the ones that don't get are completely different. For example, let's look at the people around the red light. Those who we see are often not adults, but kids selling little items like tissues or newspapers. Yes, everything they do is in order for them to survive. But at the same time, they lost the opportunity to get a better education, and we lost the opportunity to get a better future. So everything, ladies and gentlemen, even though the number of people that are lack of education decreases over time in our country, most of the nations around the world have nailed the tops. From the information that I got, Indonesia is currently ranked 52 out of 84 in terms of the education. This fact is so painful considering that we are now living in the era of globalization where we are forced to move faster. What can we do about it? One of the things that we can do about this is to prepare good education, not only for us in the present time, but also for the people in the near future. Honorable Judge, ladies and gentlemen, everything is completely achievable if we have good education. For an example, let's look at our military rank of this country. We see the military rank of our country is 15 out of 142. That is amazing achievement, and it's possible because of the education. Imagine what will happen if everyone gets proper education. The answer is we will achieve more. Such as every aspect of our country will rise up more greatly and will certainly rise to the top of the world. It's 2022. Everyone deserves better education. Not only for those who are in the it has nothing to do with your ethnic group or your religion, because in this country everyone is treated equally. Everything has changed through the years, and there will always be more ups and downs coming up. People have started to use more creative ways, using sophisticated technology that will not only make better futures, but will certainly rise up the quality of our education. That's it. So, in conclusion, for the sake of time and for the sake of our country, let's do something about our education. That is it for me. I'm very sorry if I say improper words, I get a little anxious and be nervous, but it is it for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks to Rafiq Sharif. We will move into the next contestant with name Regita Nur Aziza. To Regita, time is yours. Please be prepared, loosely talented.
First thing first, I'm gonna ask to all the eyes that are looking at me now. What comes to your mind when I say brave? Brave women exactly. Thank you. Maudia Yunda Najwa Shihab. I know there are two names that have recently become icons of women who broke the patriarchy in Indonesia. Najwa Shihab appears as a female journalist who is respected by politicians. Maudia Yunda, at the beginning of your appearance as a public figure, and that she continued her education, which at the same time she was accepted at two well-known campuses, Harvard and Stanford. Really cool, isn't it? Well, honorable respectful judge, the committees, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen,
I'm Regita Nur Aziza from Mansatu Pekanbaru, standing right here to deliver my speech entitled Women Empowerment and the Struggle for Gender Justice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, humans have various identities. Often the identity claimed by the human being is shaped by the stereotype and social norms. It's a man's world, seems not just an expression. Unfortunately, this is still a reality. Living in patriarchal society exposed me to the sexiest cliché, such as the idea that from an early age, children's activities are separated into boy things and girl things. Boys tend to explore their surroundings and consider it to be objective, competitive, and aggressive. On the other hand, girls tend to be rule followers, pleasers, and emotional. Well, brothers and sisters, some of you may be still unfamiliar with the term feminism. Even some people tend to think it negatively judgmental, that feminism is a group of women who hate the men. No, that's totally wrong. Instead, feminism is a conscious movement to change the situation for discrimination, violations, and discrimination for women. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a more basic idea that women need to have, which is to live life with an awareness of their life choices. When women realize that they have the right to choose the way of living without worrying the stigma from the society, and gender is actually not an issue anymore. You can choose whatever you want. A lot of questions arise. What are women really fighting for? What else do we want as a woman? But in fact, in reality, women in Indonesia are still experiencing stigmas and discrimination. Here are some sectors that still may be uncompletely fair to women. First, education. Many people say that your education is not important. No one will want to marry you. Sometimes such whistles makes women doubt. Should a wife be under her husband's education? However, education is one of the solutions to various problems now and in the future. Your quality determines your next generations. Second, economy. A lot of people think that if women go to work, there will be inequality in a family. But if women can divide their time between family and career, is it still inequality? Then what are you afraid of? In the end, these social norms are felt in the workplace where women are paid less than men. Well, ladies and gentlemen, women are powerful. Women who is never getting tired even though life is hit by a lot of challenges. For me, myself, and you, I beg you not to let the stigma trap you. We can select whatever we choose, and you can choose your role as a result of society pressure. But you did so because you believe something with a noble reason. If you're open up, we're proactive, we tell them what exactly we want, at least they know that we need an opportunity and people are willing to give us a chance. As Nelson Mandela once said, freedom can be achieved unless all women have been emancipated from all kinds of injustice. Well, I think that's all about my speech. Thank you so much for your kind and particular attention. I beg your pardon for all mistakes I've made. I'm Regita. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Regita Nur Aziza. We will move into the next contestant with name Yusri Kalamber. To Yusri, time is yours. Please be prepared. Anissa Rana Ataya.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Dear judge, all committee members, and dear all my friends. Praise to God Almighty who has given us His grace and mercy so that we can take this part on English speech competition. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sri Kalember and I'm from Semantu Tambang. Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion, I would like to deliver my speech about the quality of Indonesian education through the year. As we know, the quality of Indonesia is still far from perfect. This is based on a ranking from 2021 World Population Review. which placed the country at 54th out of 78 countries included in world education rankings. The country has a much lower literacy rate than other Southeast Asian countries. World Bank analysis show that 55% of Indonesia completing school are functionally illiterate, compared to just 14% in Vietnam and 20% in member countries of Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Education in our country is very minimal. The evidence is marked by a large number of Indonesia children who drop off and school early age, and the suffering of most companies in our country that aim to manage our natural resource. Already, it is still controlled by foreigners, so the profit we get are small compared to benefit they get. It's all due to lack and knowledge of managing resources. And also the quality of education in Indonesia has decreased dramatically during the COVID-19 period. What does the cause of low quality of Indonesia education? First, low quality of physical facilities. Second, low quality of teachers. And third, lack of equal distribution of educational opportunities. Therefore, the government is a policy, namely Curriculum Merdeka, which simplified into a Curriculum Merdeka that facilitates educational units in managing learning, so that is easier with the substance of the main material, because first, simpler and deeper. Second, more independent, because students are allowed to look for resource from various sources. And the third, more relevant and interactive. Learning through project activity provides with an opportunity for students at actively explore actual issues. And I think Curriculum Merdeka really develops that activities for all students, not only learning from books, but also being able to learn from the outside world, so to improve the quality of education in Indonesia. Finally, let's to all students in Indonesia together improve the quality of education in Indonesia. That's all for me. Sorry for any mistakes, and thank you.
Thanks to you, Sri Kalender. We will move to the next contestant with name Anissa Rana Ataya. To Anissa, time is yours. Please be prepared, Hanifa Ulfanaila.
I've heard many men in my life say that women shouldn't chase their career because they would probably just end up in the kitchen. And not only that, I've seen my friends, including myself, getting catcalled wherever we go. And when we tell people about it, the response is always blaming our outfits, saying that we were revealing clothes. When I heard them say this, all I could think of was just, am I really listening to this nonsense right now? It concerns me as to why they always look down on women and never blame the men, as if it's the woman's fault when in reality, it's actually mostly the men. As a woman, should we really let this utter nonsense go on? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anissa Ranataya from Asafa Senior High School. Today, I will be talking about a topic titled Breaking the Stigma and Stereotypes of Women. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know how badly the women are treated back then? They barely had any rights for themselves. A married woman would have no power against herself because her husband would have taken full power over her to the point he could imprison or abuse her. Indonesia has also experienced gender inequality. Yes, our own country. But in our case, it was a lack of education that was given to women. They didn't get any education because many people thought that women doesn't deserve to get education. They were just allowed to be housewives to help their family. These types of mindset made a woman from the founding move that she decided to build a school and fought for women's rights to receive education. She is Raden Ajahn Kartini. Since then, many people have fought to break these stigma and stereotypes, yet they still exist when they shouldn't. Ladies and gentlemen, women are praised for their looks, which is why they have really high standards. We are expected to be pretty, skinny, light-skinned, no body hair, have big chests and curvy hips. And when we don't have such criteria, we get bashed by not only men, but also women. It's because this stereotype is planted into our lives. I know a guy who loves bashing girls when they don't fit his standards. And one of the girls was myself. He would always tell me that I am flat-chested and ugly. It confused me because my appearance has nothing to do with him. So, what actually fits his standards? It was the criteria I told before. It doesn't surprise me anymore since this stereotype is absorbed into our society. It's too normalized that it gives men the mindset that women should try hard to look good for them. But they don't even need to try because apparently we as women shouldn't look at men from their looks. Meanwhile, we have to live with this sickening stereotype for years. It shatters my heart to see these women having to follow the ridiculous stereotype that is implanted into our lives. But stereotype isn't the only thing women are suffering from. There are many stigmas of women. Erwin Goffman defines stigma as an attribute that is deeply discrediting. Thus, it is inferred that stigma is a form of discrimination that is towards someone with a particular characteristic. Since we have too many stigmas, so I'll just be talking about one. Everyone, we all know that females get their periods once a month, right? Nothing is wrong with it, correct? However, it appears as something shameful and dirty for people. In my experience, it's true that I always hide it. I would always hide the pad under my hijab when I want to change it. And I would get embarrassed every time a man asked me if I'm on my period or not. Oh, we don't talk about the menstrual leak. It's the most humiliating thing that could ever happen to me and basically every female that experienced it. It's strange because menstruation is a normal biological process that happens to nearly every female in this world. But society has made it viewed as something disgusting and that we should feel ashamed to have it. Ladies and gentlemen, the mental health of women are being destroyed by these absurd stigma and stereotypes. You might be thinking that seeking for help is the correct move, right? Unfortunately, it's not as simple as it sounds like. Since women are seen as someone emotional, dramatic, and an attention seeker, their mental health is more likely to get ignored by people. Most women often view themselves like how other people see them. This will of course lead to them having low self-esteem and to avoid any kind of treatment. Therefore, we must put an end to this. But how exactly do we do that? We must bring awareness and change these mindsets. The first thing you can do is learning more about the problem. By doing this, you get to know more about the problem and find a way to prevent it. Preparing yourself for any kind of discrimination is also smart, because when someone is criticizing us, we can react well to it and give a better reply. Lastly, society needs to change their view on women. We can teach the younger generation about women's rights to reduce the stigma and stereotypes of women. Finally, there are many woman empowerment quotes coming. But let me tell you J.D. Anderson's words to remind us of the incredible power that women hold. Feminism isn't about making women stronger. women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that strength. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all from me. Thank you so much for listening. I hope we can all work together to break these stigma and stereotypes because, dear women, you are special. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Last but not least.
Thanks to Anissa Ranataya. Now, for our last contestant, Hanifa Ulfanaila, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
The honorable to the jury and other participants this afternoon. First of all, thank you for having me here in this fine and joyful afternoon. I hope we are all in the good health. On this occasion, let us pray and praise our gratitude to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has given His grace and guidance to us. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Today, I will compete in the quality of Indonesian education through the year. In my short speech, on many occasions we hear the term education, but do you know how the quality of Indonesian education through the year? And why should the government improve the quality of Indonesian education? Well, to answer the first question, the quality of Indonesian education through the year is still far from perfect. This can be seen from the ranking in the World Population Review 2021, which placed this country at 54th out of 78 countries, which are included in the World Education Ranking. We are still inferior to allied countries in Southeast Asia, including Singapore at position 21, Malaysia at position 38, and Thailand at position 46. In terms of regulating and funding, Indonesia has allocated 20% of APBN or APBD fund for the education sector. This figure is certainly very large and is in accordance with the mandate of the National Education System Law. The honorable audience, there are several factors that cause the low quality of education in Indonesia. One of which is the low quality of teachers. The condition of teachers in Indonesia looks deplorable. Many teachers don't have adequate professionalism, and there are still many honorary teachers. And the effectiveness, efficiency, and standardization of teaching. This factor can be prevented by effort to improve the quality of education in Indonesia. Include increasing education allowance for all families in Indonesia, distributing education to remote areas of the country, and providing scholarship for students in need. And now we answer the second question. Education is very important for all of us, including for a country. With the condition of the population with high quality education, it will bring the country toward progress, and education is the main factor that encourages developing countries to become developed and educated. So it is important for us to improve the quality of Indonesia. Education through the year in order to ensure a developed country and a bright future. So this is the end of my speech today. I hope some of the points that I have conveyed today make us more know how to implement the quality of Indonesian education through the year. That's all I can say. More or less, I apologize if there are any wrong words. And for your attention, I thank you promptly. I end up saying bye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.